NSA and the intelligence community in general is focused on getting intelligence wherever it can by any means possible that it believes on the grounds of sort of a self-certification that they serve the national interest. Originally, we saw that focus very narrowly tailored as foreign intelligence gathered overseas. Now, increasingly, we see that it's happening domestically. And to do that, the NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. It ingests them by default. It collects them in its system, and it filters them, and it analyzes them, and it measures them, and it stores them for periods of time, simply because that's the easiest, most efficient, and most valuable way to achieve these ends.
You can't give me the right to be a human being. I'm fine with that right. Now you can keep me from having that if you've got all the policemen and all the jobs on your side.
Hey, and thanks for joining me for another breakdown of a Jay Inslee press conference. This one is from yesterday, November 30th, 2020, where he introduced the Washington exposure apps. There's several other states, I think Washington, D.C. as well, has started using this app, or their state or district's version of this app. And what it is it, even though they say it doesn't track you and share your personal information, we'll get into that a little bit later, but it basically tells you if you've been near someone who has tested positive for coronavirus, so you can decide what you want to do. There's lots of implications from something like this. I'm sure most of my regular subscribers already understand that. But for those of you who don't, we're going to break that down a little bit here. But I'm going to have links to this video in the description, or a link to this video in the description below. So go check it out for yourself and do some research if you haven't already on these kind of apps, and not just the apps, but what our cell phones are. I mean, they're literally a tracking device. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video. Like I said, this is Jay Inslee yesterday, November 30th. While you're watching it, hit that like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave me a comment with your thoughts on these tracking apps. I'm sure you've got some interesting ones.
So today we got a really exciting announcement of having a new tool in our toolbox to fight this pandemic. We now have a tool that we're going to be making available to Washingtonians to make sure that you know if you've been close to someone who's positive with the virus. So this is a tool that when you're out and about and you use your cell phone can effectively alert you if you've been in close proximity with someone who's tested positive. Our office has partnered with the Department of Health, Google, and Apple on this feature, and it was developed with incredible leadership from the University of Washington. This feature, we're calling it WA Notify, and it's particularly innovative because it will alert people without ever having to share personal information, and this is the beauty of it. This is a program that will alert you if you've come in close proximity to somebody who's positive without ever having to share your personal private information. Phones with WA Notify share a random code using Bluetooth technology, making it possible to alert people without sharing personal information. And it doesn't even need to know where you are for the system to work.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I'll talk a little bit in more detail about this, but I think it's important maybe at the beginning to talk about what this program does not do, because it's important for people to have confidence in this system. First off, this system does not store any personal information. Second, it does not share any personal information. Third, it does not track your location. It doesn't know where you are. It won't store that information. It does not track which WA Notify users are notified if you test positive. And last, it doesn't provide any personal information to developers or to the Department of Health.
The association will, after enough repetition, become fact in the public mind.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. So what I want to talk to you about here is, they're talking about how this is going to help bring down, the cases because people will be notified if they've been around someone so they can help make a better decision about what they're going to do. But we all know in government when they name something like, the Affordable Care Act, it didn't make anything affordable. Costs went up. The CARES Act, they don't care about anybody. They care about the profits of the major companies like Amazon, Walmart, all these companies, and people that are making profits, record profits off of this pandemic, rather than the people that it's affecting, like the small business owners and the regular people. But I just want to point out, he made 8 references in that couple of minutes there of talking to our security of our personal information, basically. So that's what this is about. They're keep talking so much in the little bit I'm going to show you here about our personal information and how much, they're not sharing any of your information and nobody's going to see your information. Well, I think what they're trying to do is convince us that like other users aren't going to be able to see any of your information. And like he said there, the developers of the app aren't going to be able to see your information. But we all know, if you've watched any of the information Edward Snowden released, you know that everything we do on our phones is tracked. Everything. They are literally a tracking, recording device. If you don't understand that by now, I don't really know what to do to help you out, but everything we do is tracked and stored and recorded and stored, I should say, on those devices. Maybe not by the developers of the app, but by somebody. All the apps that you have on your phone that you give permission for location, for your camera, for your microphone, all that stuff. Somebody has access to all that, and it is all being logged and recorded. So you got to remember that when they start trying to tell you about how secure your personal information is anytime you're using your phone. So I'm going to move on to another clip here. This is the president of the University of Washington who helped develop this app, and they tested it out on the campus with the students at the University of Washington, of course, the guinea pigs.
This committee included experts in public health, in ethics, in healthcare, in privacy, security, as well as representatives from community advocacy organizations to ensure that this technology would be effective and safe and private. Privacy is absolutely paramount, and the goal from the very start was to use this technology to help to minimize the spread of COVID-19 while protecting users' privacy. The platform does not collect anyone's information, and it's completely voluntary. The University of Washington has also helped to build confidence in the program because we conducted a soft launch of this program right at the University of Washington on our Seattle campus. And so we were able to use it both to test privacy and to work out the technical issues. We like to say that the University of Washington is actually the University for Washington. And this program is a case study of how we try to live up to that promise. The work we do has impact on people and communities across Washington, and that public service is core to our mission. Our UW experts will continue to collaborate with Washington's Department of Health to evaluate how WA Notify technology works. This includes evaluating its benefits to users and to public health. And we look forward to continued progress and development of this very important and timely tool.
So she was just kind of, talking at the beginning there about who was involved in developing this app and making this app. And then she, of course, went on to talk about, now she mentioned privacy 3 times. But it's the continued relationship, I guess, with the University of Washington with this app and how they're going to continue, how she just mentioned they're going to continue to develop it. I'm not going to go into how that would work, how we're being tracked, and how if they really wanted it to remain anonymous like they would, it would have to, in my opinion, I don't know, I'm not a programmer, I do have a limited programming knowledge and whatnot, but it seems to me it would have to be like blockchain based, and it would have to be a particular type of blockchain. But maybe someone else can enlighten me on that. If you can, leave that in a comment for me. Share that with the rest of us, and maybe I'll do an update to this. As there will be updates to this app, I'll do an update to this subject and include some of that information. I've got one last clip here to play.
Joe, did you want to ask a follow-up question?
Yes, for the governor, how many people do you need to sign up for this app to make it considered measurably effective?
Well, I think 2 is the answer, because if those 2 people get within close proximity, one life could be saved or more. So I don't think there's a minimum threshold. All we can say is the more people, the more lives we will save.
He's off
and again, we have over 200,000 people signed up, so it appears to be a very popular tool at the moment. I hope that will grow. John, do you have anything to add to that?
Modeling studies that have been done looking at King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. The modeling studies suggest that if 15% of the users, of those folks with smartphones actually use these, that we could see infections decrease by 11% and deaths by 15%. So we're really encouraging everybody to give serious thought to activating WA Notify and have another layer of protection as we go forward in trying to end this pandemic here in Washington.
You don't get something that's free, private, easy to use, and effective that can actually save lives, maybe your own, or more importantly, even maybe your loved ones. So this is a pretty sweet deal for folks. They can decide what to do with the information, but at least they'll have information at their disposal.
Wow, did you hear that, folks? It's a pretty sweet deal. I don't know, the way they're selling to me, this is an hour-long press conference. There's a decent amount of it where they're not necessarily talking about this app. Like I said, the link to it will be in the description below. Go ahead and check it out for yourself, but it seems to me they're really trying to sell this app, and they're overselling the privacy aspect of it, which tells me that they're using it to collect your data. And like I said, if they're going to be able to use it to know who is around who, like he said, using Bluetooth technology, it doesn't really matter which technology you use. Even if it's storing it as an anonymous way, the only way they can say, well, it was this person, is it has to somehow have an identifying factor, clearly. So anyhow, I hope you guys are having a great day. I don't really know what to say. It's time to, stand up to this stuff. Just stop complying. There's no protest you can go to, or no court proceeding you can have that's going to end it all. What would end it all is just everybody just stop complying. They have no authority over us, and there's not enough of them. So if everybody just stopped complying, in a group I belong to online, on a social media group I belong to, someone asked, when is the day coming when we all just decide as a group to just stop wearing masks? And most of us a lot of us in the group thought it was kind of funny. Like, what do you mean when today was the day? Yesterday, right now? Just do it. Just stop. Don't plan it. Just stop complying. Be an individual. Don't be part of a group. Think for yourself and be free. Be an individual. Peace out. Live free. Thank you for the continued support of my channel. If you want to continue to support alternative and independent media like myself and others, I suggest you diversify your social media and get on censorship fighting platforms like BitChute, FreeSpeak, Minds, Library. You can find me and other freedom-loving journalists there. I also have links to PayPal and cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Monero, and others. Look in the description below for links.